In this original 3-part series, we will embark on a journey to the human desire for sugar and the results of it. So do not forget to subscribe this channel to get the next chapter, and we are starting right now. In this video, you will learn about the history of sugar. What was the journey that sugar, once a rare and precious material, which by the 16th century has been driven along the Silk Road and other important trade routes, has become a basic and inexpensive product that is used in all the kitchens of the world, and how it has become one of the worst illnesses of the Western world, and has also become one of the main sources of calories in the industrialized West. First, I want to begin with the fact that we all know there is a universal preference for sweetness and fat. There are some explanations for why. The substance that the brain needs and consumes consistently is glucose and fat. In fact, this is the only real taste preference in the world, because food has no real properties of taste of its own. During our socialization process, we learn from the environment what tastes delicious. First, we learn it from our mother and grandmother, and then society and the environment around us. Those are the ones who will teach us what is tasty and what is not. But we learn that sugar and fat have a universal preference, and there are several explanations that are intertwined. First, remember that the brain is made from fat, and that the main energy it needs is glucose. So that preference is also based on the materials which the brain searches and consumes. Our first taste ever is mother's milk, substance that made of sugar and a significant amount of fat. And this is the first primary taste that connects us with all the good in the world. Another point is the growth of the sugar itself. And this is a point most people tend to ignore. Sugar cultivation actually offers the highest calorie content per unit area. In a unit of sugarcane area, it is possible to produce 4 times as many calories as wheat or corn, and 10 times as much as 12 times more than grains. And the last issue is that sugarcane is a low sugar of low nutritional quality. For now, let's say it's not healthy to eat a lot of sugar. The history of sugar in the ancient world. Until about the 16th century, the main sweeteners of the time was honey, that at that time was a byproduct of the candle industry to the churches and the monasteries, and other sweeteners were dead concentrations and various kinds of fruits. The sugar cane, that was apparently spawned 8,000 years ago in the south of the Pacific Ocean, apparently in Papua New Guinea, rolled along the Indonesian islands and reached India. Only from there it arrived to China. And it is important to remember that sugar has always been a labor-intensive crop. On the 16th century, sugar reaches Europe on the Silk Road and is considered a luxury product. It traded in Europe in its weight as silver. Means a kilogram of sugar was sold in Europe for a kilogram of silver. It is considered to be a powerful drug because of its dramatic caloric effect. The sugar is very invigorating because it offers calories, as well as because it was used in combinations with drugs. The drugs were bitter, and the sugar sweetened them. So people tended to incorporate sugar into medical context. In any point of view, it was a rare and a precious material to be handled with caution. One of the reasons why sugar was rare in most parts of the world is because the conditions for sugar growth and production are very specific. The sugar is a vegetarian from the grain family and is actually the cousin of the grass and requires a warm climate, and you're going to need a lot of water. So it grows in the south of the United States, west of India, in Cuba, Hawaii, Jamaica and Brazil. Places that have tropical weather, lots of water and lots of land. Sugar takes about a year and a half to reach the state of collect. That is, we plant the sugarcane in the soil, fertilize it and irrigate, and after a year and a half it reaches the maximum sugar content in the barrel. This is the stage that it must be harvested. The process of producing sugar has not changed in the 8,000 years that humans does it. First, we need to pick the nests and chop them. Then, place the chopped nests in boiling water to extract all the sugar from the nests. Then the sugary water boiled to a syrup. This syrup is called molasses. This is the process that was known in all the regions where sugar was grown. The soldiers of Alexander the Great describe a barrel that produces honey, and of course they meant the molasses. The connection between agriculture and the industrial process is critical, because sugarcane, unlike other crops, has no seasons and is growing all year round. What is customary today is to divide the growing area to 12 and plant sugar at intervals of 1 month, so that each month another part of the area can be treated to grow, harvest and move to the next plot. Even today, they are combiners of sugar or machines that cut off the nests, but the price of such a machine is very high in comparison to the price of workers. And therefore, in the developing countries, there is no transition to agriculture industrialization of sugar, because the price of industrialization is tens of times higher than the price of labor by muscle force. And today, most of the sugar is grown in economically disadvantaged countries and is considered to be a labor-intensive crop with considerable physical involvement. Just imagine tropical land with 36 degrees, humidity of 19%, a bushy field of nests that gets under your shirt, and the main work machine is machete and a tool tray that requires a lot of physical strength. Anthropologically, Columbus's journey to India was not only to reach the spices, but to reach to the area where he can grow sugar. Indeed, already on his second trip, Columbus is taking a sugarcane with him. He and his team see that it succeeds, and when he returns from his trip, he informs, "I went back and it succeeded! I found a place to grow sugar in large quantity. Only there is a problem, a tiny one. We need workers, lots of workers." On the next chapter of this chronicle, we will see how the Caribbean residents were recruited for the sugar mission, how the most powerful World Trade Triangle was formed, what were the results of the process for Europe and for the sugar itself. So don't forget to subscribe and comment to this video. Thanks for watching, see you on the next.